What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the 90s First to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the 90s First show. It is good to be back. It's been too long, 2 weeks. We take a 2-week break anyway, but it's still long. It's still long. And as always...
it feels like a long time.
Yeah. As always, my co-host, Jelly. How you doing today, Jelly?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really good. Allergies are kicking my butt, so I may be a little sniffly, but other than that, I'm having a really good day.
All right, that's good. Good to hear. Good to hear it. And we have a special guest today, and we're really excited for Isaac's PS5. So how you doing, PS5?
He says he's doing great. He's excited to be sitting on my desk. So
yes. No, we have Isaac from the Infinity Bros universe. If you guys don't know about them, they're a podcasting group of 6 people, 6 guys, 6 friends that talk about movie news, TV news, sometimes video game news. But Isaac, how you been,
and
man?
television shows. They talk about television shows as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We talk about all sorts of stuff. It has been a while, guys, and I am super excited to join you today. Like, you guys are doing awesome things over at the 90s First, and so I'm honored to be invited back again.
Yes, and if you guys don't know, Isaac was on our first episode ever
Ever.
of our podcast. So
big
go
deal.
check that out. Episode 1 on Batman, the animated series, the first ever episode of that show. But of course, Isaac, you have not joined us since we have switched the formula here. So we're just going to be talking about the 90s and we got a new segment here today called the 90s Now, and we'll get back to that. But first, Isaac, we do plugs differently now. We're gonna start right at the top. So Isaac, want to plug anything with you specifically, Infinity Bros, whatever? Talk away.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like Mike mentioned, I am a part of the Infinity Bros. We're a group of 6 dudes who have a podcast. We live stream on Twitch. We do all sorts of weird, nerdy stuff. So you can follow us at The Infinity Bros pretty much on any social media platform. You can also go to theinfinitybros.com for all of our links, and you can find us at any major podcast platform. Me specifically, you can find me mostly on Twitter at Isaacalistic. I mean, I'm not going to spell it out for you guys because it's a mouthful, but yeah, I've tried to spell it before on our own podcast, and I screw it up on our own podcast. So that's why I just stopped spelling it out for people. But yeah, I'm sure you guys will have a link somewhere that you can find. But yeah, mostly on Twitter. And that's kind of where I kind of hang out with the Infinity Bros stuff too. Is Twitter's kind of our main platform. But yeah, excited to be here. You can follow us at the Infinity Bros anywhere. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
Definitely love pretty much all those guys over there. I haven't met all of them, but certainly they are friends of the 90s First. So it's very, very good to have you back on the show, Isaac. And as always, everybody, if you would like to support us monetarily, just general support, you could head on over to our Patreon at the 90s First, as well as follow us on our socials at the 90s First on every single platform: Facebook, Instagram, Tweeters, everywhere.
All of them.
All of the places.
And so, without further ado, let's get into our first segment, the 90s Choice. Now, gentlemen, this is where we decided to just watch something from the 90s. And Isaac, since you're our guest, what did you watch and what would you like to chat about today?
So I mentioned this just on the very back end of our own podcast. But this week I have been getting back into watching Spider-Man, the animated series.
Yes.
Great
Amazing
choice.
series that is now on Disney Plus for your pleasure of viewing. And man, this is like this and Batman, the animated series, which we talked about on the very first episode of the 90s First. Those are the two shows that I like remember from my childhood that basically got me into superheroes. Like I'm a superhero nerd because of these two shows. And specifically Spider-Man, like Spider-Man's my favorite. I mean, these guys know, but like I talk about Spider-Man like every single episode of the Infinity Bros podcast because I'm just a little bit obsessed. I love Spider-Man just a little bit. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. And this show is just fantastic. Like I started watching when Disney Plus came about, and watched through it's a super long first season. There's like 30 plus episodes in the first season. So I watched about half of it, and then I got distracted with life, everything else that's on Disney Plus. So this past week I picked it up. Probably it's about like halfway through the first season, but it's basically the neurogenic arc, which is like a really great arc, but it's like Peter Parker has this like mutation that is kind of like advancing in his blood, and basically he's becoming a mutant. It kind of gets a little murky in there and like what actually is going on in his body. Like they don't go into great detail. It's the 90s. Like this is they're just like, oh, cool action, like Spider-Man fighting, cool stuff, but I mean, they don't get into a ton of detail, but he's like becoming a mutant. At one point he even grows like 2 extra sets of arms. And like it's just wacky.
I remember this.
It's super wacky,
so much.
So and then it's actually really cool because in this arc, he like because of the mutation, he goes to the mutants, and there's a couple episode crossover with the X-Men animated series, which is also fantastic. But it's really cool that he interacts with a couple of them. Has a really good episode with Wolverine, and man, just a blast from the past. Like this show, it just makes me smile, even though it's like you watch the Batman animated series. Like this again, we talked about this in the first episode. Great, possibly the greatest animated show of all time. Batman the animated series is amazing. And as far as animated shows go, Batman the animated series is a pretty serious show. Like there's obviously funny parts and stuff like that. That's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man is goofy, it's weird, it's funny, and obviously that's reflective of Spider-Man's character, like Batman's not necessarily a funny guy, so that's why the animated series isn't like a funny show. But this show is it's kooky, it's hilarious, like just weird stuff happens, weird lines happen, and it's one of those things where it's like so bad that it's good type of thing. And my favorite part about this series is they cram so many villains into this show. Like every episode, there's a new villain. And there's like I said, 30 plus episodes in this first season. So I think that's amazing that they are able to. Oh, dude, seriously, it's amazing. And yeah, so that's what I've been into. And one thing I'll cap this off with. The Spider-Man, I know a lot of people talk about the Batman and the X-Men animated musical themes. The theme for Spider-Man, the animated series, is fantastic. I get that stuck in my head all the time at work, even though it's ridiculous. Like I'm like singing along with it, and my wife hears me singing, and she's like, "What are you singing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, now that I'm singing it out loud, it sounds really weird because." It's literally, they just say Spider-Man over and over and over again. And then they start talking about spider blood and radioactive spider blood. And it's like, what? who wrote why are there lyrics in this song, number one?
Right.
And number two, like,
sounds.
but it's totally 90s. Like, you know, you got the kind of like shredding guitar, a little bit of electronica like mixed in there and stuff like that. Spider-Man the animated series is like a perfect description of a 90s cartoon show. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been into. Sorry, I went into a little bit of probably too much detail on that, but I love that show. It's fantastic. And if you guys have not, this is the first time I've actually watched the whole show through, because like as a kid, I mean, you got sporadic random episodes, you know, like on TV whenever you can catch it. You know, like I never have watched the show from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So this is a new experience. Like I love, and surprisingly, I don't recall off the top of my head if Batman does this super well, but like the arcs are very long. Like this neurogenic arc is like 8 to 10 episodes long, which is surprisingly long for an animated arc. Like I think
Batman doesn't do that. Batman is just, if they do have a second part, it's literally just a second part.
Just part 2, right. And that's kind of what I recalled. And I was surprised by that, but it's kind of cool because you get kind of the ongoing story through a lot of the shows, which, you know, in the 90s, that wasn't really super common. Like you kind of, it was episodic was the way to do TV back then. Like you had one episode that was about something, you moved on to the next episode that was about something else. So I found that kind of interesting about it, but amazing show. If you guys have not seen it and you have Disney Plus, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man the animated series I grew up on as well. It's in my mind, it's up there with the pantheons, you know, the X-Men and the Batmans of the world.
Yeah.
And it's what's funny is that you you mentioned the theme song. And I was literally trying to think of what the theme song from the Spider-Man show was.
Do you want me to sing it for you? Because I could probably sing it off the top.
No, I mean, okay. You don't have to. But I thought it was funny that my mind instantly started singing the X-Men animated.
Oh yeah, the X-Men is it's like
it's
iconic, so that's understandable. The X-Men one is funny. Iconic, and when I was watching those 2 episodes of the X-Men arc, like they play the X-Men animated theme in there, which is amazing. Like I love that they incorporated that whole crossover in there.
Well, I think
cool.
they did. I think they were one of the first. You know, that those 2 shows were like, you know, kind of the Arrowverse, you know, back in the 90s. Because I think Spider-Man goes into the X-Men show a couple times.
I would not be surprised, but I'm not quite as familiar with the X-Men series. I need to watch that one too. So
I think what's crazy
crossovers.
is that I think what's cool about that Spider-Man show is that they took a chance and they created a cartoon for kids, but it was Peter Parker as a college student.
Right.
Like he's older, and that's what draws us adults in, right? Just like with Batman the animated series, you have adult themes really that prove good storylines in kids shows. So
yeah, absolutely.
Jelly, I was chatting with you this morning, and I think I know what you're going to talk about, unless you just throw me for a curveball here. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I've been watching a lot of 90s content, but I'm going to talk about what I was watching today, because I got 2 little ones, and so my daughter and I sat down and watched Beauty and the Beast today. Beauty and the Beast is a fantastic movie.
Great
she
film.
loves it. It's one of her favorites. It may be a now segment in the future because it's something that did get a recent remake. But we're going to talk about the original one, which is fantastic. I don't know how I could describe it. If anyone hasn't seen it, just go watch it. It's just
magical.
Standard. Yeah, it's standard Disney princess.
It's like when Disney was at its peak. Like that was like a really amazing stretch of animated movies that they came out with from like mid 80s to late 90s, whenever they started doing like kind of the more 3D animation type stuff. But man, it's a great movie. It, like you said, it's kind of hard to describe because it's just a good, solid Disney movie.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's got all the music. It gives you the feels. It has everything you're looking for in a kid's Disney. And I'm a big kid at heart, so for me, it just hits everything. It's like, all right, So I'll sit down happily and watch it with my daughter, and
Yeah.
we have a good time. My son likes it too, which is fun.
Awesome.
But he was doing school, and he was definitely not watching movies while he was supposed to be doing school.
Absolutely not.
For me, I think Beauty and the Beast has the best music. I mean, out of like as a whole, I think it's one of the best
Whoa.
scores in
I'm just
Disney
fighting
history.
words, man.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
high praise.
That's high praise. But you know, for me too, you know, like I'm gonna yell at some of the Infinity Bros. Beauty and the Beast live action is the best live action Disney movie, and it is my favorite, and it's good. It is good.
It's the best live action remake.
Yeah, that's
Disney
what I'm
movie.
saying.
Boy.
That's what I'm saying.
Not live action.
I don't
Disney
think
movie, though.
No,
You're-
not live action
yeah.
Disney. Of course not.
I don't think you're. I personally, I don't think you're like out of bounds saying that. It is a really good
okay.
remake, so I'll allow it.
Oh, okay. No, but I think it just has a great story. Just the original as well. You know, it's an interesting love story. It has cool antagonists with Gaston, and just the people who, you know, don't want to see Belle end up with the Beast. So I think it's interesting.
It deals with don't judge a book by its cover, literally and in a metaphorical way, which is great.
True.
Yeah. No, Disney Plus again. Subscribe and you know,
Disney Plus for the win,
yeah.
man.
I was
Oh,
not
it's the
watching it
best.
on there, but I bet it is there. I own it, so I was watching it
True.
in my
I'm
video
pretty
library.
sure it's there.
It's gotta be.
Sometimes
It's a
they vault
travesty.
things and then they don't let us have them. Disney can be a little stingy about
Yeah,
those.
but
Yeah.
Disney
They go in the
unvaulted
vault.
everything for the Plus. So
Oh, did they?
the Plus, yeah, everything's
The
unvaulted.
Plus.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they unvaulted everything.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes.
They have like pretty much like everything that I've thought of that I want to watch that's Disney is pretty much on there at this point.
Yeah. So then,
Nice.
so
Okay.
then the question is, what is your, you know, you watch Beauty and the Beast? What is your favorite Disney animated movie?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I think I'm partial to The Lion King. That's kind of always been up there with my favorite. Amazing voice casting. I mean, James Earl
Yeah, that's
Jones
true.
as Mufasa, Jeremy
Mhm.
Irons as Scar. Whew. Man, it's really hard. It's really hard to go against Lion King, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just like iconic, and I would say that my personal favorite score is the Lion King. Lion King score is also amazing.
Oh
but
yeah, very good.
but yeah, I think I would have to go with Lion King. I was severely disappointed with the Lion King remake. It was not what I was expecting. It was very
I
disappointing.
have not finished watching it yet. I've put it on twice and then said, "Yeah, the kids can watch this one. I'm going to do something else."
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly.
What's
Yeah,
your favorite
I
Disney
tried.
movie, Jelly?
Favorite animated Disney is Hercules.
Ooh,
Hercules.
yes. That's a
There you go.
great one.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for the Hercules story.
Ugh,
And they did a great
that's
job.
another, gosh, we could talk about so many movies with amazing scores.
Oh, Michael
So great.
Bolton's cover
Yeah.
of that song
Oh my gosh.
is so freaking good.
Amazing.
So is Onward Pixar
Yes.
or is it Disney
Mm,
proper?
It is.
I mean-
it's Disney Pixar, but yeah.
Do you want
Pixar.
to debate that?
No,
Is
I mean
anything
because
Pixar?
I would choose Onward if it was just strictly
Oh
Disney
man,
Studios.
Onward is
in
so
my
good,
opinion.
man. I love that movie too.
But no, if I can't do that, then I'm probably gonna go Tarzan. I think it's
Ooh.
I love Phil Collins, his
Man.
score.
Yeah.
We're just
once
picking bangers with scores, guys. Like
Seriously.
Phil Collins, you cannot go wrong with Phil Collins. Like this guy's score in Tarzan is like fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's so,
So good.
stinking good. I could put that score on and just listen to that all day.
Oh, for sure. All right, guys. I
What 90s
decided to. We've already mentioned him, the Batman. I decided to watch Batman Returns with Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Nice.
The Penguin.
Christopher Walken's in there. A little bit, not a little bit. He's actually pretty main plot there. But man, first of all, Michael Keaton, I mean, he is such a good Batman. He is so good. Secondly, Tim Burton was the perfect director for Batman, in my opinion. Like, just his style, the way that he creates the world, the ambiance, the aesthetic, the themes, like, just perfect for Batman in general. And Danny DeVito's Penguin, I feel like, is underrated. It's not talked about enough as far as like Batman villains. Like, he just really fits that character, obviously.
Yeah.
But overall, just such a great story, I think. You know, Batman's battle with love with Selena Kyle and Catwoman, and just, you know, dealing with, hey, you know, do I risk my identity and stuff like that to fall in love with this girl? Turns out she's a little crazy, so he didn't. But
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But then just, yeah, like having watching, and you guys go through this, watching things as adults, you know, you just see more things. Like, as a kid, I watched this movie and I had no idea that Penguin was blackmailing Christopher Walken's character, because he literally had a hand of a dead person that Christopher Walken killed. You know, just like
you don't notice that stuff when you're a kid.
Exactly. So, like, you know, it's just funny. It's a very good movie. It has a lot of good action scenes. The opening of that movie is just amazing. You have the Batman theme regardless, you know. And then I'll say it. I think that's the coolest Batmobile. Oh man, it's just so cool with the little fire at the end. And Batman totally kills a dude by lighting him on fire. So, you know, it's pretty crazy. But when's the last time you guys watched Batman Returns?
Oh, it has to have at least been 15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. I think the last Batman that wasn't Christian Bale that I watched was the one with Mr. Freeze. Was that Forever?
Forever? That was Forever,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
No, that's Batman and Robin. Come on, guys.
Oh, Batman and Robin. Sure.
Batman Forever is Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey. And,
the Riddler
Carrey.
one.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
I get those mixed up because they're both so bright and
Well, that's what's crazy is you go from Tim Burton to Schumacher,
super dark,
I believe his name is, and just like a more bright and lively tone with I should say. I like Batman Forever. I think it's an underrated superhero film. You know,
it's one of those like guilty pleasure type films. Like, it's you know, it's not like the best movie out there, but it's just fun to watch. Like,
yeah,
you haven't, like, you can't go wrong with Arnold Schwarzenegger giving out ice puns. Like, I mean,
well, it's Batman.
That's just
Robin,
funny. That's just funny.
Yeah, no, it is funny. I've always thought that if you took George Clooney's Bruce Wayne and Val Kilmer's Batman and merged them, you'd have a perfect Batman.
Yeah, you'd have a good Batman.
Because Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne is awful. George Clooney's Batman is awful, but, you know, just switch those around, add them together, you got a perfect Batman Bruce Wayne combo.
But when do you get a Batman that can turn his head?
I don't even.
I see you over there.
Pads.
It's not in the cards, man. It's basically written into Batman's character now that he can't turn his head. So
yeah, exactly.
He's just gonna turn and look at things.
What makes you different than us? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing them. They get tuckered out.
Okay. We could go on a whole podcast quoting Colin Shimmer Batman.
Let's
just helicopter.
Is it helicopter?
Well, let's move on.
All right. All right. Next, let's talk about what we've just been enjoying overall, what we've been consuming. Jelly, we'll start with you. What have you been watching other than 90s content? Or reading
90s content.
Or playing?
I am re-listening again because I do this often, to the Harry Potter series. And fun fact, I have listened to this series probably upwards of 70 times.
Wow.
But yeah, it's probably
that's a ton, dude. Holy crap.
But
I think you might have a problem.
I do. I acknowledge it. It's not a problem if I acknowledge it. It's an obsession. It's different.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I know it's there and I know it's unhealthy, but yeah, I'm listening through it and I picked up for the first time ever, at least in memory, something new from the series that I didn't get before. And in book 5 is what I'm on now, Order of the Phoenix. There's a moment in the beginning when Harry's aunt references not his dad but Snape as a child, and I just picked it up 2 nights ago when I listened to that part.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was really fun for me. Like I had one of those moments where I was like, and I
something
sat down.
I didn't know. What?
I sat down in the classroom I was in because I'm a custodian for those listening. It's my day job, quote unquote. I work nights. But yeah, I was vacuuming, and I literally sat down and had this epiphany, mind blown moment for like a minute. I was just like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense now. So that was really fun for me. Really fun.
Do you listen? I know you listen to podcasts at a faster speed. Do you listen to the Harry Potter books at a faster speed?
I listen to everything at faster. I can't do normal speed anymore.
Okay, how much faster though?
For books or for podcasts?
Either one.
Depending on the person, podcast is either 1.8 to 2.5, and then books is so 1.8 is Ben Shapiro because he talks fast. So I listen to him at 1.8. But like Joe Rogan is the slowest talking person I've ever heard. So he's at 2.5. I can't listen to him normal. And he does 3-hour podcasts. So I can get through his 3-hour podcast in an hour, like 36 minutes. Dude. Yeah, it's very helpful.
That's crazy. Okay, what do you listen to books? Yeah.
Books is usually like 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think faster. I would go faster than that because of that.
So for me, faster than that changes the timbre. So they sound weird. Yeah. And like the voice act, they got Stephen Fry to do the voice acting or voice reading, narrating, whatever you want to call it for the Harry Potter series. Sorry, they got 2 different people. J.K. Rowling hated Stephen Fry, so she fired him and got someone else for the American version. Wow. So they released in Britain only a Stephen Fry version, which I copped and got that because, I need the unique one because I'm a nerd. And if I go any faster than 1.5, he sounds funny doing the different characters. And it hurts my brain.
I can't, I don't know, it's just my brain or what it is, but I can't go any faster than 1.5 on anything. Like, I don't know if I just can't comprehend the speed that it's at. I don't know what it is, dude, but if I go faster than 1.5, I feel like I'm missing so much stuff.
And I'm still at 1.0 for most things.
Me too, but I listened to a couple things at 1.5, but most of the time I just listen to it at just normal speed because I don't know, my mind probably just can't comprehend it at that speed.
I thankfully work in a job where I can basically shut my brain off and still do a really good job because it's so easy that I have 8 hours a day and I'm like, I'm going to absorb as much content as possible.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to the point over time. I didn't start out at going 2.5 on people. Like I just worked up there. But yeah, as I've been going, I'm like, okay, I need more faster. Okay, I need more faster. Okay, like faster.
Just working your way up.
Okay.
So yeah, I think initially I started like 1.2 and then or 1.25. I was like, okay, this is good. And then I was like, after a while that got slow to me. So now when I put it back down to normal to like show people little snippets of podcasts and I hear them talking, it sounds like they're speaking in slow motion to me. It sounds like every word they say is drawn out. I'm like, oh my God, is this what you people hear when you listen to stuff? It's bad. But that's what I've been doing. Right. I've been doing other things, but That's what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
epiphany moments don't happen often, especially
Yes.
for someone who's done that as many times as me. Oh, it was great. It was so good to have that.
That's got to be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Isaac,
had that in years.
Well, yeah. Isaac, what else have you been watching, consuming, reading, eating?
Well, eating. Well, today for breakfast I had. I have this beauty sitting here on my desk.
We've already introduced him.
Yeah, we did. He's actually the guest on this podcast, not me.
Yeah.
But I recently acquired a PS5. Thankfully, Target was doing things a little differently, and they were actually making you go to the store to pick them up instead of shipping.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to finally get a PS5 after trying for like a month. Like it was a long time that I was actually trying to get one. But yeah, thanks Target for beating the bots on that one. But yeah, so I've been playing some games on here, and you guys will be thrilled to know that I'm getting back into Apex again.
Yes.
And it's like it's always been my favorite battle royale game since it came out, but my Infinity Bros are just not in it. So I just kind of fell off of it. And once I got the PS5, I was like, all right, I need to download this and start playing again. And I've been really enjoying getting back into it. I just love, like, it's just a nice, quick, it just flows better to me than Warzone or Fortnite. And I can actually like do well instead of, suck all the time. So, so that's fun too. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. And, I got into Fortnite again last year. And because it's their skin
all the
game,
superhero
man.
stuff.
The skin game, the skin game is fantastic.
Dude, they
and
just
I don't
bring
even
you in, man. They just bring you in.
It does. I don't even really like playing Fortnite. Like I won't play by myself.
Bad.
I won't play by myself. But like their skin game is on point. Like they have amazing skins. It's so good. So that sucked me in last year when they had the Marvel season. Mm-hmm. So I kind of been playing that on and off. My latest big game, though, that I've been playing is Spider-Man Miles Morales. I picked that up even before I got my PS5 because I didn't want to wait because it looked amazing and I didn't want to get spoiled and stuff like that. So I started playing on my PS4. When I got my PS5, they have cross-save for it, so I saved it up to my PS5, played the last half of the game on my PS5, and that game is amazing. It is so stinking good. I loved it.
Did you buy the special edition so that you could get the PS5 version?
Yeah, I got the Ultimate Edition so I could get the remastered Spider-Man PS4 for PS5. So, because that's up there in my top 3 games of all time. Like Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man is amazing. I love that game so much.
Yeah, it's a
so
great
stinking
game.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So Miles Morales was amazing as well. My only gripe with it was that like after I was done, because it was such a short game, I was like wanting more. Like I was like, oh man, like I just wanted more villains. The story was really good for how short it was though. Like no complaints on the story. It was fantastic. But I just wanted more. I just felt like I wasn't done with the game. And of course now I'm like grinding for the platinum too, so I'm actually not done. But I wanted more elements of villains was my big thing because there was only really like 3 big villains, and Marvel's Spider-Man did an amazing job of bringing in a ton of villains, whether it be through side missions or other stuff like that. So I don't know. That was my only gripe though. Gameplay's amazing. Buttery smooth on the PS5. Miles has some amazing moments and some amazing suits. Everything about the game is just awesome.
Question for your PS5 use. Have you tried Call of Duty and played with the adaptive triggers yet?
Yes. So that is one of the best parts about the PS5. Okay. The PS5 has haptic feedback. What? You don't like that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Haptic feedback on the PS5 is... I think it's amazing. It is a little like trippy to get used to. You definitely have to like play a bit because I thought the same thing right away. I was like, oh, this is stupid because you got resistance and then you got to actually like press it pretty hard to hit the trigger. But like if you're playing it for and another thing is like it's not a lot of the games are not made specifically, for the PS5 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll come in the future, just with games updating and, all that stuff. But like, if you play a game that is created for the PS5, like Spiderman or Astro's Playroom is it's like the tutorial game you get with the PS5.
That one's super fun.
The haptic feedback on this DualSense controller is fantastic. It is amazing. It enhances. I think it enhances the gameplay a ton. I loved every minute of those games and the feedback. Like the DualSense, I've been a PS4 guy for 6-7 years now, and I like the Xbox controllers better because they're just more comfortable. They're better. This DualSense controller is quickly becoming my favorite controller because it's actually fits in your hand. It's nice. Mm-hmm. It's the DualShock controllers are just like kind of clunky and like they're fine. I can still play well on them and stuff, but they're not comfortable in my hands like the Xbox controllers are. But the DualSense controller is amazing. I'm awesome. Really enjoying it. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been getting into with the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to put as much time as I can into it because I spent a lot of money on this thing. I got to get my money's worth out of it. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick up Miles Morales for my PS4.
Dude.
I just haven't
haven't
gotten around to it yet. I always wait for deals, so there hasn't been a good deal on it just yet. So
yeah, we'll get down there eventually.
Yeah, it will. It will for sure. I have. I'm almost done with the Watchmen, the series, and I've mentioned this on our Test Your Might episodes. Our video game debate show. Go ahead and take a look at those. But episode 6, probably the most. And I shouted this out on Twitter.
Don't spoil it for me.
I won't spoil. Don't worry. It's probably the most pivotal, most important one of the most important TV episodes of all time, in my opinion. And so if you have not watched it, get a free trial of HBO Max or something, and try to get your hands on that. I think it's totally worth it. Watchmen is just fantastic. I know, Isaac, you just finished it too, and you have nothing but good things to say about it as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So. I absolutely second everything you're saying. Like, this show is fantastic. If you have not gotten HBO Max yet and you're like planning on doing it for something soon, definitely put this on your list to watch while you have it because it is an amazing show. I really hope that sometime they get renewed for another season or two. It was a good ending. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was a good ending if they didn't want to. But they kind of left it a little bit open, so you potentially could do more seasons. But this show is great, and I'm all for more in that universe. They adapted that universe for this show so well. It was really awesome. Mm-hmm. Definitely would recommend.
Yeah, and then I'm excited to watch it. Yeah. I've been reading The Shining, and so getting into that book, it's so good. It's brilliant. Jelly's just mad because I didn't go straight into Two Towers after finishing Fellowship of the Ring.
How could you?
I've said this on all of our podcasts. The reason, because I'm trying to finish all the books that was like 100 pages or so in, and because I have a habit of dropping books that I'm like pretty decently into, and then just starting a different book, and then I'll get to 100 pages or so in that, and then go to a different book. It's crazy. It's
a weird way to read books, Mike.
I know, I'm just bad at it. So I got into finishing books recently, and it's crazy. I love reading now, and so I've been reading The Shining, and it's starting to get pretty freaky, and I love that. Horror is one of my favorite genres, so glad to read it. And then I'm gonna watch the movie. It's out on HBO Max, so I'm gonna finish this book and then watch the movie because I haven't seen The Shining in a long time, and Johnny's apparently there. So, all right, now let's move into our newest segment, the 90s Now. This is where we take a look at something from the 90s, like a property from the 90s that has been revived, redone, whatever. And we're going to try to keep it as recent as possible. But today we chose to do something that Jelly has already been watching, before we even decided on this, to do the 90s Now segment. So, Jelly, can you tell us what we're going to be discussing a little bit here today?
We are going to be discussing the remake. I want to say reboot, but I can't. The remake of Walker, Texas Ranger. They've remade it. And I mean remade it in every sense of that word. They remade it. They took all of Walker and they gave us something else. But that's what we'll be talking about today is the Walker on not
CW.
Texas Ranger on CW. And it's free. If you guys listening want to watch it, the CW app is totally free. You can watch it. There's some ads, which is a little obnoxious, but hey, that's part of life.
It's free. Yep.
It's free. There's good stuff on the CW as well. So I do recommend getting the app and watching CW content. I don't know if I can recommend Walker, though.
Well, let's get into it. Isaac, what were your initial thoughts of the first episode of Walker?
Okay, so initially, I went into this, it's on the CW, okay? I went into this knowing this is going to be a drama, right? There's going to be a lot of emotions going on. There's going to be probably not as much action as I would like there to be.
Roundhouses. I didn't see one roundhouse.
No roundhouses. Come on, man.
Still haven't seen a roundhouse.
But going back to so Walker Texas Ranger background, I didn't watch a ton of it growing up, but I caught episodes every once in a while. Yeah. But what do you remember about Walker Texas Ranger? You remember Chuck Norris roundhouse kicking guys in the face. That's the best part of Walker Texas Ranger, right? As him beating up the bad guys.
He had a freaking super cool partner, ex-pro football player Trevette, coming in being the hot new dude. We get zero of that.
Yeah, right. And so coming into this, I'm like, what? I've watched several CW shows, and they all go the same. All right, we're going to build up this backstory. We're going to spend a lot of time on this stuff that you don't really care about. But we're going to make you care about this character, whether you like it or not. We're going to make you care about this character. And I didn't see any roundhouse kicks in the first two episodes. So I was severely disappointed. Number one, but I kind of did expect that. You even
gave a second episode a shot.
I did. I watched I watched two episodes.
Way to go.
So I was hoping that the roundhouse kick would come in the second episode, and it still hasn't come yet. So little disappointed. But anyways, again, this is all background information. These first two episodes, sure, okay. You know what? Maybe when we get this going, 10 episodes down the line, maybe he's kicking the crap out of people every episode. But it's on the CW, really so I'm not hoping for that. But, okay, I will say, though, if you do not regard this as a remake of Walker, Texas Ranger, I was mildly interested, okay? I don't know if I would keep watching it, but it's not... It's like you said, Jelly, this is nothing to... They remade the whole character of Cordell Walker. Yes. He's not there. It's a different show. It's a different character. If you take that and going into it, maybe you can enjoy it. I don't really enjoy stuff on the CW that much. So this was in that same boat.
So, hang on. I want your blood to boil a little bit longer, Jelly, because I know you have some strong opinions.
I have very strong opinions
I will give it a little bit of praise, kind of like Isaac said, is that, there were some characters that I do, it did relate to, I'm about to have a daughter. So I want to be, a dad for her, be there for her, that type of thing, and I kind of, and that is what kind of was the bright spot, was actually, me wanting to maybe, I don't think I will, but maybe invest my time into seeing Cordell's relationship with his kids grow, and become better. All in all, I thought it was an okay crime story. Like, it was just okay. I mean, it's run of the mill, that's basically what it is. There's a drug lord, not really a lord. He's a little bit of a front, and the owner of the building didn't even know that it was happening. So, it was his wife or something. But yeah, the story overall on that first episode was just okay. It was again, run of the mill. But at the end of the day, like, make a different Texas Ranger show, like, just make something that's different, don't attach it to an already established thing where people who were, I won't call you a super fan, Jelly, but you were definitely a fan of the original show, where they're not disappointed. They're not disappointed. So it's kind of like Force Awakens, right? There's a bunch of Star Wars fans that went into Force Awakens and were extremely, extremely ecstatic, and it felt like a warm blanket because they brought all the nostalgia and it felt like a Star Wars movie. This does nothing to that end. It's like there is no Walker, Texas anywhere. Are we even in Texas? Like, there's no roundhouse. There's no like karate. There's just nothing.
There's no Chuck Norris.
There's no Chuck Norris. Yeah, I think it starts off strong, in the sense of just like, showing Walker's wife passing away. I won't tell you how, but I think it's cool that you see his character develop into how to deal with that. But overall, I don't think I'm going to be revisiting this show. And Jelly, your blood has been boiling too much. Right. If you're watching the video version,
I'm putting my seatbelt on to listen to what Jelly has to say.
See his red face ready to burst. All right, friend, go ahead.
I will hate watch this show, and that's exactly what I'm going to hate watch it, because I need for it to at least deliver something of the original series. If you're going to take the character Cordell Walker, and you're going to not only take Cordell Walker, but you're going to steal the name of the show and recall the show Walker, freaking give the people who grew up with Walker Texas Ranger something, anything that resembles that. Yeah. And so far, 3 episodes in, they gave us a Cordell Walker where they stole his backstory, removed it, took his personality, took his ability to do anything, and gave us a broken shell of a man who's absolutely useless. They instead made the show about his partner, Mickey Ramirez, whose mom wanted a boy, and they gave us a different show. So they could have just called this Mickey Texas Ranger or Ramirez. They could have done any. They could have fixed it. Else. Yeah. It would have been so easy if they wanted to make a show. Like, the show that they made was not Walker Texas Ranger. The show that they made could be called anything else, but mostly it's, hey, let's put these political issues on a platform and just talk about them. And I understand that the CW is very guilty of doing that with everything.
I was just going to say, so a CW show.
That's standard CW drama, yes. Like, I understand that that's what they want to do, but they messed up by choosing a franchise that has a big fan base, that has a cult following, that has fans who expect one thing, and then to epically fail in every sense of that. They could fix it. They still have time to turn around. They're 3 episodes in. They could fix the show if they wanted to. I don't think they will. I will continue to hate watch it until it's off air, hoping that they do something. CW has had good shows is the problem. I love The Flash. I enjoyed the very first season of 100 or The 100 or whatever. That was super good.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have the ability to do good shows, but when they choose to do something like this and take a intellectual property and then bastardize it into something that doesn't even resemble the original, they just rip the name away and give us something like, yes, people listening, I hate this show.
There it
But
is.
I want you to watch it with me.
but
And
that's
hate
the
watch
thing.
it.
That's the thing. Like you if what Isaac said and what you just said kind of meshes. If you did not grow up watching Texas Ranger, Walker Texas Ranger, this show is not that bad because you're coming into it with a different lens. But if you come at it with the Jelly lens, he's a fan. Yeah, we're coining that, by the way. Trademark, patented, the Jelly lens.
Hashtag Jelly lens.
You grew up watching that show, and so this is a disappointment. So I think there's a dichotomy to this, a little bit of a paradox, because I think overall, if you don't have that name, that title to it, it's an okay show. Just okay. Run-of-the-mill drama, run-of-the-mill cop drama. It's okay.
I think even without stealing the franchise that it came from and trying to pull from that, it's lacking because they gave us a broken character.
Yeah.
If they wanted to highlight a character in the show, which they do, they highlight his partner, they should have done that. They should have just made her the star. She's great.
Yeah.
If they wanted to have a good show, I mean, have Jared Padalecki stand as, the support for her.
Yeah.
He could do that just fine.
I hear you. Isaac, any other thoughts on it?
Just to piggyback off of that, I mean, if you were expecting anything different from a CW show, you would be pretty disappointed. Because that's what they do. They take broken characters and that's what they base shows off of in the CW. They make the show all about all of the characters' problems and them working through those problems and trying to fix those problems to no avail until the final episode of the season, and then it leads into other problems that they take care of in the next season. So again,
I don't foresee a next season.
You're probably right about that. But if you're expecting anything different from a CW show, you will obviously be disappointed. This is a CW show in every aspect of the matter. So
all right, well, you heard it. It is a show.
It's a show. That's true.
It is a show that is on TV.
Can't argue that one.
Yeah,
it's free. Hey, I didn't pay for it, so that's good.
That is true.
I would have been disappointed if I paid for it.
If I had to rent that episode,
we would have taken it out of our Patreon budget. You would have had to do it. It's okay.
So kind of you.
Anyway. Finally, we're going to move on to 90s trivia. This is where we have a little contest, and Jelly has some 90s trivia here to see if we're going to be able to be smart enough.
I'm worried that I'm going to be outed as a fraud, as a 90s fraud, if I get this wrong.
No, it's okay. I mean, again, I was born in 92. Jelly was born in 90, or 89, whatever. And we were babies too, so, but it's still fun. It's still super fun. But regardless, I believe I have 1 point. I believe Jelly has 1 point. And I believe Isaac has 0 because he hasn't been on the show. So let's see if you can get on the board here, Isaac.
All right, let's
Jelly,
try
what's
it.
our question for today?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Which search engine was initially named Backrub? Yeah, that's a real question.
No way. Oh my god, a search engine? Oh boy.
Backrub. Backrub.
Do
I just answer right away, or what?
You can answer whatever you want. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say there used to be a ton of search engines, and now they kind of consolidated them. And I'm gonna say Ask Jeeves.
Dang it! That's what I was gonna say.
You can still say Ask.
I was gonna say Ask Jeeves. I was thinking about.
I remember that being a thing,
Napster,
like back in the day.
But Napster's not a search engine.
Okay, before you guys give other. Okay, well, actually, Jelly, you're gonna answer too, right, Jelly?
Yes, he's He's covered his answer.
I keep the answers.
I'll let you give your answer before I say my secondary.
I was gonna go to Ask Jeeves as well, so that's my guess.
I think it's Yahoo.
Okay, Yahoo.
Yeah,
They had a
okay.
good search engine back in the day. I don't know if they still have it or not, but like Ask.
What's the other?
Wasn't it
What's the
Ask?
other one that you
It was
wanted?
just like Yahoo Ask or
Could be
something. like that.
Dogpile. Dogpile was another big one back in the day.
I was thinking Bing because they didn't get bigger until a little bit later in the search engine game. So maybe they started out as something like that. I don't know.
Microsoft back rub.
That was their first browser, the Microsoft Backrub. That's the next version of Microsoft Edge.
Are you guys ready for the reveal?
We are ready.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It was, get out of here.
Yes,
It was Google.
What?
It was Google?
No way.
Hey!
What? No way.
Google.
Oh my gosh. Never would have guessed that.
No. Oh, you could have given us multiple choice.
No way. I was afraid I'd see the answer.
Oh my goodness. I'm upset
Way
about
less fair.
it.
Yeah,
Is Ask
Google.
Jeeves even on there? No, it's not even on
Yeah,
there.
what's on there? What's on there? Say that. Say
The options were Google, Yahoo, Excite, and Netscape Navigator.
Netscape is
back
the
in
other one.
day.
I was
Netscape.
thinking
I do
of
remember
too.
Netscape. I don't remember. What was the third one? Excite?
Excite, yeah.
Don't remember that
Never
one.
heard of it.
Oh, anyway, that was 90s trivia. Hey, that brings us to a
Do we
close,
all
gentlemen.
get half a point then because none of us got it right? Or
No, we don't get any points. Sorry, Isaac.
I was trying to sneak on the scoreboard any way I could there.
Isaac, once
We'll have
again,
you back on.
Yeah, we'll have you back on, of course.
Yeah,
once again,
absolutely.
thanks for joining us. Really quickly, just let us know once again where you are found on the interwebs.
So you can find us at theinfinitybros.com. You can find us all at all of our links there. And you can find us on Twitch at _infinity_bros. And you can find our podcasts on any major podcast platform.
There you go.
There you go.
And you
And
can
Jelly.
find me personally at Isaac Gallistic. Again, not going to spell it out for you guys. You can
I'll
figure it
have
out.
all their stuff down in the show notes, everybody.
Perfect.
Yes.
Jelly, where can we find you?
You can find me here, right here, in the 90s first. Or you can find us on our other podcast with Test Your Mic.
Yep.
But that's where I'm at. Find us on our socials, the 90s first everywhere.
That's true. And I'm at Mike90s1st on Twitter. Go ahead and follow me there. And yeah, what I do is I post on the 90s first and then I retweet it on mine. So that's basically what I do. Oh yeah, and then, just talk about gaming and stuff like that. So follow me there. Anyway, once again, if you would like to support us, go ahead and head on over to our Patreon. It is much appreciated, but not necessary, of course.
Yep.
We just love doing this regardless. So Patreon will be down in the notes. Everything will be down in the notes. And yeah, we'll see you next time for the 90s First show in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for listening. This is Jelly. That's Isaac. My name's Mike, and we're out.
See you later.